Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on another edition of Capital Sports, reaching you from NT Channel 5 Abuja. I am Badi Adeleye, standing in for your regular anchor, Abdullah Ajia, who is unavoidably absent. And of course, today we've got loads and loads of things to talk about. Of course, the Super Falcons of Nigeria are getting set to face the Copper Queens of Zambia in the quarterfinals of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And of course, it does look like it's going to be a serious cracker, knowing that Zambia, they did something at the last edition of the WAFCON. And of course, the Super Falcons are just out for their pound of flesh. Of course, the rumor mill has gone berserk when it comes to transfers. We'll be talking about that, and so many Nigerians are very much involved. And of course, teams are getting back from they are getting back now to preseason friendlies. We'll get to talk about that. And Chelsea fans are still very much loud on the streets. What do they want to tell us again after winning the Club World Cup? And the sports fraternity in Nigeria continues to mourn the passing of late former President Muhammadu Buhari. And we will always recall all the great things he did for the sports sector in Nigeria. That's the outlook of the show today. Many thanks for joining us. I've got someone who is very much capable when it comes to the discussions that we'll be having on the show today. But I'll not be unveiling him yet. That will be after this break. Do stay with us. Joining us, and never forget that when it gets to a certain time on this show, we'll give you the phone lines for you to call in or send your messages for us to and make it very much interactive. And on that note, let me welcome our man, a friend of the house. You can call him an native sports analyst, no other person than Emmanuel Chizorom.
Yeah,
Many
everybody.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Vada. It's always a pleasure. This is my first time on Sports Capital. Yeah, so I've been on other platforms, but this is the first time. So it's a debut for me here, and I'm like, super excited for it.
I want to believe you're going to score a hat trick.
Most likely.
All right. They always tell you potato, potato, tomato, tomato. But let's start. The women's first, the ladies first. So let's go with the women. As the Super Falcons of Nigeria, just like I told you earlier, they've got about 24 hours now to mount the downfall, of their Zambian opponents, and that will be on Friday when both teams clash in one of the matches of the quarterfinals of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations being decided in 2025. And of course, Nigeria ended the last edition of the competition without a single medal. And we know the team that stopped them from doing that, Zambia. And Zambia, too, they are one of the fast rising countries when it comes to women's football in Africa. Although they will always tell you that we should be proud in Africa because women's football is fast developing.
Absolutely.
But Emmanuel,
Yeah.
facts do not really care about your feelings.
We don't.
We need the girls to get the job
Absolutely.
done. We need to progress.
Definitely.
Family first.
Absolutely, absolutely. But football development or not, I think it is Nigeria first. And it's Mission X for the Super Falcons. And what makes this one even a lot more dicey is the fact that some of the teams they might meet in their quest to make it the 10th AFCON title are teams that they met in the last edition, and the story were not palatable at all. I recall that the Copper Queens of Zambia were 1-0 winners in the third place playoff match between the Super Falcons and them in 2022. And should we also trump them and get a victory tomorrow, we will most likely play either our South West African counterparts in the Senegalese ladies or the Bayana, who, by the way, also clinched the African Cup of Nations ahead of Nigeria in 2022. So it's a dicey situation that we find ourselves in. But the good thing about that is that we are not just in this tournament with experience. In fact, as a matter of fact, experience has not paid off for us. Look at the likes of Rashida Tajibade, Sisat Oshola, other than the one goal she got in the game against Tunisia. She's not really been there. There's been the brilliance of Esther Koronkwo and also Hezua from the bench. And Justin Madugu has really done well in terms of managing a squad and prioritizing what matters the most and all of that. I do think where our strength lies in these is in the surprises that will come in the likes of Esther Koronkwo, Ihezuo, and some of the talents we've got on the bench. Not necessarily the experience that we've got in this element, but that counts for something as well, because when push comes to shove, you rely on the quality you've got to come deliver you, and maybe that's where our experience will come. But my fear is, yes, in 5 games, we've kept 4 clean sheets. We've considered one, considered against in a friendly, by the way, against the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. We played out a goalless draw against Portugal, who is a formidable side as well. But then in this tournament so far, Nnadozie has not considered any goal.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Zambia has considered a couple of goals in this tournament.
But they scored too.
But they scored. And where I fear so much is in the fact that we cannot have 22 shots on target, shots and then just 2 are on target. I think we need to be a lot more clinical in front of goal. And if Zambia is going to score and they concede, maybe it will be an open game where he that can outscore the other will carry the day. But don't forget also the reigning African Footballer of the Year, Barbara Banda, is also part of that team. And it's also a star-studded side, like you said in your opener. A lot of teams are not just playing catch-up now. I think a lot of teams fancy their chances against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. It used to be a monopoly in the past, but right now it's not a monopoly. There is South Africa, there is Zambia in the mix.
And you cannot even rule out Morocco.
You can't rule out Morocco. You know what North Africans can be when they get to the final stages of the tournament. So really, it's a dicey situation, Badi, I must say. But I think experience, talent, and the management of Justin Madugu should be enough to pass the Copa Queen.
I think Morocco will be facing Mali. I don't know how that draw, because I felt like, any team, Zambia or Morocco, could have finished first, in Group A. And from saying they are broke, I didn't know. So we're still waiting for how that is going to pan out. Yeah. But Ademola Lookman, the news just came from nowhere.
Yeah.
We thought at some point it was, leaning towards, Atletico Madrid. But now Inter Milan could be the team to sign our very own Ademola Lookman, the reigning African Footballer of the Year.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a very good one for Ademola Lookman. Italy is now a terrain that he's relaxed and he can perform in as well. We saw his, of course, prowess at the Bergamo club, Atalanta, helping them win the Europa League and scoring 3 goals in the final as well. That happens to be Atalanta's first ever major title in Europe, and also was Gasperini's first ever title as a coach, because when you listen to how he talks, you feel that he's a treble winner. He's not saying it was the Yoruba boy that gave him everything he has. So let's just keep that aside. But I do think that the move that move is a very good one for Ademola Lookman. I think Italy is a terrain you understand. Inter Milan is a side that actually has been consistent in a couple of seasons now. That's where we want the best players for the Super Eagles to be at. In as much as we want our players to play regular football, but all these individual accolades also help put our football on the map, and that's why we want to see Ademola Lookman in Inter, see him in the Champions League, play regularly amongst the best of the players, compete amongst the best of players in Europe as well. And I do think that Inter Milan is going to give him that opportunity. He served Bergamo and the city of Bergamo and Atalanta. He's done well for them. Of course, the track records are there. Titles is won, the goals is scored for them. And even when they didn't make it a friendly environment for him, he's shown his resilience as a Nigerian, and he's gone on to do well for them. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Should have gone to PSG, but they chose Vicha Kvaratskhelia over him. Well done to them.
That's the club would have wanted for him.
I would have wanted that club for him, because Luis Enrique will bring out the very best in our brother. And really, I don't know what's going on in Inter. I know they are consistent, but the coaching might not just be the best at the moment. So when we look at this, we look at everything that might play in our favor and in the favor of our players as well. So I feel, in as much as Inter is a good side to play for, I still do think that maybe PSG, the very, very good PSG. In fact, they enjoy monopoly in the French Ligue 1. Maybe they'll just be would have been a better destination. But that is in the past now. Inter is in the present. Let's see what he does with that.
All right, the transfer has not been confirmed yet. We're just following the rumor mill.